Good morning, everyone. So today we're going to be looking at how water moves up plants and how water can move from one glass to another using only a paper towel bridge. And then we're also going to be looking at how water can move up a coffee filter. So let's get started. So for our first experiment, we were going to be looking at how water travels across paper towel from one glass to the other. First, I'm going to cut a strip of paper towel. About this wide. Next, we're going to put some lines on our paper towel, and they're going to be a bit up from the end. I'll show you after, but that is where we're going to put that in the water. We don't want the colors to touch the water because otherwise they will start to go into the water rather than across the paper towel. And another important thing for this experiment is to use washable markers. So ones that can be washed with water because they work better. So an important thing about this experiment is to make sure that you have a space and you're also using washable markers so that the water will actually move the color along. Next, we are going to use these glasses and put one end in one glass, making sure the color doesn't go into the glass, and the other end. And then we wait. So while we wait, we're going to do another experiment. So this one is using a coffee filter. So it's fun to do. I'm going to use blue, and you make a big circle in the center of the coffee filter, like this. And then we're going to fold it in half and fold it again so that we have a little point where there's no marker, as you can see. And then we're going to take it and put it in another cup. And we're going to watch how the water moves up this coffee filter. So we want to have it where it just touches the water. And the marker doesn't go in the water, because otherwise the marker, instead of traveling up the coffee filter, will just go into the water. So it's a little bit hard to do. You might need some help, but there, now it's sitting in there, and the water is going to travel up. And while we're doing this, we can watch what happens with that one too. If you notice already, I'm going to move it this way so you can see what's happening with the paper towel. Actually, this side might be a bit better. So I'm going to turn it so you can see what's happening with the paper towel. Do you see it traveling up? Maybe this way. You can see it. Oh, and I'll move there so you can see it moving up and along. So for both of these experiments, it's water traveling through paper. And that is because of capillary action. Capillary action is a way of describing how water moves when it gets into tiny tubes or spaces, like in between hairs on your head or fibers in a piece of paper. Capillary action works because water molecules are sticky. Not sticky like glue, but sticky enough to stay on your fingers after you wash your hands. Water likes to stick to itself, and it likes to stick to other things. When water gets into a tiny space like between paper fibers, it'll stick to the sides of the fibers. Because it also sticks to other water molecules, more water gets pulled into the space after it. Gradually, by pulling in more water and sticking to the sides, the water will inch its way along and climb all the way across the paper. As you can see here, it's already done that. And if you notice in here, see, it's already moving up. So that circle is moving along. So a fun one with this is if you have a black marker, you could make a circle on the coffee filter, and sometimes when it travels up, it starts to separate into different colors, which makes it really pretty. All right, now we're going to move on to a different experiment. I'll leave this one for you guys to see. So now we're going to look at a different type of experiment. This one is a glass of water, a drop or two of food coloring. We're going to mix it so it's nice and dark. And then I'm going to take a piece of celery. I've already cut the bottom of it so it has a nice fresh cut so it can easily move up the celery. And we're going to put it in water. So for this experiment, we do it so that we do it a night ahead. So this one I've already done the day before, and I don't know how well you can see it, but I cut it open and there's blue dots all along here, and I'll show you a better picture like that. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what those blue dots are. But first we're going to look at the parts of a plant. And you see, it's already starting to move up. So another fun thing that you can do is do different colors in different sections. So you could make a really pretty pattern and turn this coffee filter into another piece of art. Like you can make it into a butterfly or whatever you would like. All right, so we're going to move these to the side. So first we're going to look at parts of a plant. So the first part we're going to look at is the flower. So the flower is important because it makes seeds in order to continue the life cycle. So you go from seed to seedling to plant to it flowering and then back again. So nice life cycle. The next part we're going to look at is the leaves, right here and here. So the leaves absorb sunlight and carbon dioxide to make food for the plant. Next, we're going to look at the stem. So the stem supports the leaves and carries water, minerals, and food throughout the plant. And then the roots. The roots anchor the plant and absorb water and minerals from the soil. So imagine you've just watered a thirsty plant and its roots are starting to absorb the water from the soil. How does the water travel from the roots to the rest of the plant? The answer is tiny tubes inside the stem called the xylem. They draw the water up from the roots like a straw by a process called capillary action. So remember, capillary action is what happens when water climbs up things like small tubes. So water, again, can do this because it's sticky. It likes to stick to the sides of things and it likes to stick to itself. So gradually the capillary action lets water climb up to all the different parts of a plant through the xylem tubes in the stem. So this is a picture of celery, and all of those blue circles are xylem tubes. So in our experiment, we left on the celery stalk the leaves. So the leaves help pull water up the xylem, which are these. They have little holes that let out extra water the plant is done using, so more water can come rushing up the xylem. Try comparing a stalk with leaves to one without. Which gets color up the top first? So that's another fun way to experiment with the celery. So if you look at this, it has already started to move. So it was down here and it's moved all the way up here. And then we can look at this experiment one more time. So it's moved all the way across. So you can do different patterns and make different colors on there and just try different ways to see the color moving across from one glass to the other. Thank you so much for learning a little bit about capillary action with me today. I hope you had fun, and hopefully you found an experiment that maybe you can try at home. We will see you tomorrow where we're going to learn a little bit about the water cycle. Bye guys!